Right now, if every state has to lock in, and today is election day, and there's no toss-ups, Donald Trump is your next president of the United States. Whether some brand new polls that's suggesting it's not quite so bad for Kamala Harris as it was a couple of days ago. No. It's not bad. It's a disaster. It is so bad. Well, let's go right to Bill Clinton. Because Bill Clinton articulated it perfectly at a campaign rally where Bill Clinton is trying to rally support and enthusiasm for voters in Nevada. This is how Bill Clinton portrayed the current state of the campaign.
But about 45% of the people think he can do no wrong, and they don't care if we save our democracy or not. So there is a sliver there that has to make up their mind. And to them, Kamala Harris just showed up. I mean, she was there as vice president, and what they think of her largely depends on what they think of President Biden. But she is extremely vulnerable, more vulnerable than she deserves to be, through crazy attacks. So they've been thinking, the Republicans, all this time, how can we go on the attack?
All right, couple things. First of all, we got to talk about it. We all see it. I can't ignore it. Does Bill Clinton have herpes? Look at that thing. What the hell is going on his lip? What kind of cesspool petri dish of viruses are living inside this man's system? After all the partying and all the water beds and all the God knows scenes from Boogie Nights and Eyes Wide Shut he's been living through in real time, it's a wonder we don't see more herpes on his lips. But what the hell is that? It's mesmerizing. You can't take your eyes off of it. Ew. Yeah, he's got herpes simplex 7, I think. But did you catch this? I mean, this is an amazing way to describe Kamala Harris's problem in the polls right now. How did he put it?
Largely depends on what they think of President Biden. But she is extremely vulnerable.
She's extremely vulnerable. Which, by the way, is just how I like my women. Vulnerable. And with some daddy issues. She sure has a pretty mouth. She is extremely vulnerable, Bill. Let's break down where she is right now. This is from this morning, CNBC. The matchup, this specifically talking about the favorability ratings for the two candidates.
Looking at this next thing here in terms of favorability, Harris has lost all her post-convention bounce. She went from +3 in the September NBC poll to -10 back where she was in our August survey. That's a sign Trump has been landing blows on her image, and maybe perhaps she's been doing it to herself as well. Trump maintains his -13 to -6. He was -13 in August too, so he's improved his favorability.
Look, it's more than improved, dude. Take a look at that. I mean, again, we all have to figure out how to deliver our lead when we're broadcast journalists and how we're going to deliver news and information. CNBC this morning, their takeaway was, wow, Kamala's gone from +3 favorability in September to -10 now. Meanwhile, Trump has gone from -13 to -6. He's still not very favorable. I look at that, and let's get rid of September to now comparisons, all right? All you should be looking at is the yellow bars on this graph. Are you looking at it with me? Kamala Harris is at -10 in favorability, and Donald Trump is at -6 in favorability. Now, I'm no mathematician, and I'm certainly no political expert. But I look at today's favorability numbers of Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, and it sure seems to me that Donald Trump has higher favorability than Kamala Harris. Or, said a different way, Kamala Harris is less popular than Donald Trump. Kamala Harris has more unfavorability than Donald Trump does. To hell with where they were in September and where they are now. As of right now, people hate her more than they hate him. Okay? They're both unfavorable, but she's less favorable than he is. Add to that some other data points. We've been talking about the black vote a lot here. We've been talking about black men a lot here. When last we checked, Barack Obama was lecturing black men, telling them to fall in line and vote, as he put it, for the sister. Well, according to the Hill's latest survey here, a quarter of young black men are currently saying they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And I think that's underestimating it. Because if a quarter of them are saying it, it means more are probably going to do it. They're just not saying it. That's devastating for Kamala Harris. It's devastating for the Democrat Party, by the way. Furthermore, as you know, we don't spend a whole lot of time on the national poll because we don't elect presidents with a national election. The popular vote doesn't exist. The popular vote, it's like, here's what the Electoral College looks like, but here's the popular vote. The popular vote is meaningless. There's no such thing as a popular vote because we don't conduct a national election. We conduct 51 state elections. Well, 50 state elections and one District of Columbia election. All right? Drill that into your mind because everyone who talks about the national poll, the national vote, is really talking about something that exists in a Disney fantasy. It's make-believe. That said, Democrats, generally speaking, if they're going to win in the Electoral College, need to be up 2 or 3 points in the national poll to be able to even have a chance. According to the latest Forbes poll highlighted here in this post from The Hill, President Trump right now is leading Vice President Kamala Harris by 2 points in the national poll. Let me say this as conservatively and as judiciously and as non-exuberantly as possible. If that holds, if Donald Trump ends up winning the so-called popular vote, which doesn't exist, by 2 points, this is going to be a bloodbath. This could be the biggest bloodbath since Reagan. I'm not overstating the case. I want to be clear. The last 3 times a Republican has won the Electoral College, 2 of the times they have not won the popular vote, and only once they won it by a fraction, just a bare fraction. That was George W. Bush in 2004. But in 2016 and 2000, Bush won and Trump won the Electoral College without ever even coming close to scoring a win in the popular vote. It gets even worse, though, if you're looking at that popular vote. I told you last time we did a walk through the polls that the trends for Trump were unmistakable, right? And the way you can see those trends is when you go to Real Clear Politics and you look at their average of the polls and then look at the latest polls. Well, here's exactly what you want to see in the popular vote. Rasmussen, Forbes, CNBC, and Wall Street Journal dating from October 17th through today, through yesterday. Trump +3, Trump +2, Trump +2, Trump +3. The trend of the last 4 polls over the last 7 days, Trump is in the lead in the popular vote. And these are brand name national polls. These are not some, fly-by-night polling firm that's just decided to test the waters. And no, these are organizations and publications that have been around for decades. Now, that coupled with some of the older national polls that go back into late September gives Kamala Harris a 0.2 of a percentage point lead in the average. But you can see the trend is unmistakable. All right. Now, all of that talk about the popular vote leads us to this baby right here, because this is really what it's all about. This is your electoral college map. All right. And as you can see, we've got our red states, we've got our blue states. I'm not doing the whole, shades of red, shades of blue thing because it doesn't matter. You can win a state by one vote and you get everything in the electoral college, unless you're in Maine or Nebraska, right? So I don't do the shades. You're either deep red or you're deep blue because that's all that matters in the electoral college. And you will see on this map 7 gray states. These are the 7 battleground states that we've been talking about for a couple of months now, and it hasn't changed. These are still the battleground states. Now, I'll be honest with you, North Carolina was leading heavy red right up until the Hurricane Helene. And now there's some question because it's hard pull because so many people are still lacking their basic infrastructure. There's some areas that will not have postal service. So, GOP, and every time I have somebody from the RNC on, I say, what are you doing about North Carolina? What are you doing about North Carolina? Everybody's assuring me that North Carolina is still pretty solid. In fact, earlier this week, there was one poll for the first time that showed Donald Trump actually beyond the margin of error in North Carolina with a 5-point lead. I'm ready to go out on a limb right now and say North Carolina is locked. I think they've had enough time to do enough cleanup and enough infrastructure repairs in Western North Carolina. And I think there are enough people who are so ticked off at the Biden-Harris lack of response after the hurricane that they are going to swim their way to an election site to make sure that their vote is counted. I did the wrong state here. That's South Carolina. That's very red. Here's Georgia. We'll put Georgia in gray too. Let's go over to Arizona for a second over in the West. Arizona right now is leaning very, very heavy to Trump, mostly because of the border, mostly because of immigration. Remember how we said that every time Kamala Harris shows up somewhere or speaks or does a media appearance, she hurts herself? Remember when Kamala Harris finally decided to visit the border for a photo op and give lip service to border protection? Do you remember where she went to do that? Arizona. Arizona is looking solid right now for Republicans. In fact, even that Senate race that was looking pretty rough for Kari Lake, that's starting to tighten now in Arizona. And I'm not saying that Kari Lake's going to win it, but it's starting to look rough. And here's another thing. You're not seeing any Kamala Harris people or any of their surrogates spending any serious time in Arizona. In fact, 2 days ago, when Kamala Harris took her day off before 2 weeks before the election, they sent one person out west, Bill Clinton. And where did they send him with his herpes? They sent him to Vegas, not to Arizona, which brings us to Vegas. Now, I want to show you of these 4 states back in 2016, these 4 states that we're talking about looked like that. All right. Trump won North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and Hillary won Nevada. All right. That's what it looked like. As of now, based on the indications and the last 3 RCP averages in Nevada, in this battleground state, consistently now, the trend is showing Donald Trump flipping Nevada. And they've been teasing us along for years. They've been saying Nevada's on the brink, Nevada's on the brink. It's leaning more red, it's leaning more red, it's leaning more red. But then somehow the Democrats pull it out. There is a key difference that I'm willing to go out on a limb. Where are we? 12 days out? We're 12 days out. There's one big difference in Nevada. Well, 2 big differences in Nevada that I think are going to make a difference this time and is going to bring home the state for Trump, which is, by the way, a state he doesn't need. Because just so you know, giving him that state, well, I'll show you in a second, the Electoral College count in a second. There's 2 big things in Nevada that are moving it now firmly, well, not firmly, but decidedly in Trump's favor. All right. The first is the unions do not have the same stranglehold that they have had. Harry Reid created a machine there in Clark County where Las Vegas is, and those unions locked in the vote. They locked it in for Kamala. 2 major things within the union world have made a difference. The first is the same phenomenon we've seen everywhere, that the rank and file are no longer following in lockstep with their leadership, not just at the UAW and Teamsters level, but also in the food services and casino dealers and casino workers in Nevada, the electricians and all that stuff. They're no longer following in lockstep because they're looking around and they're saying, what has continuing to vote the way our leadership tells us to vote for Democrats gotten for us? Because cost of living is through the roof. Democrats kept us shut down during the pandemic. That means the hotels were closed. Our kids couldn't get food on the table. Everything costs more. Enough with this. All right. So that's number one, is that the unions have made a difference. Oh, and at the same time, Donald Trump was the first out there saying, I'm not going to tax your tips. I know Kamala Harris has copied that, but everybody knows that Trump will actually do it. They can't trust Kamala. The other thing that's going to make a difference in Nevada is that they've got a Republican governor. And I truly do believe it's as simple as that. When it comes to election shenanigans and various election integrity protocols, oftentimes decisions are made at the governor's level, and this time it's a Republican. It's a Republican who is sitting in that governor's office because Donald Trump endorsed him. All right. Meanwhile, over in Georgia, I think that despite the fact that Georgia is still terrifying because of Fulton County, I think that the state of Georgia has instituted enough election integrity protocols in that state, and the latest trends in that state, poll after poll after poll, have been solidly in favor of Donald Trump. I'm ready to put it right there. All right. So all four of those states, I feel, and I believe, based on the trends we've seen 12 days out, the trends over the last 10 to 14 days in those states, I think Trump's got them. Now, I'm going to scroll up a little bit here so you can see what that does to the Electoral College count. That puts Donald Trump at 268. How many does he need to win? 270. Winning those four does not give him the race, but it puts him real close. Now, the reason that I paused on Nevada is, let's say Nevada goes to Kamala the way that it did 8 years ago for Hillary. Trump is still at 262. Take a look at the three states left: Wisconsin at 10, Michigan at 15, and Pennsylvania at 19. He doesn't need Nevada. He still only needs to win one of those states, and he's over the top. He goes over 270. Even the smallest state of Wisconsin, if he wins it, it puts him at 272. So Nevada is icing. Nevada is sort of cherry on top. It's gravy. The only reason Nevada comes into play is if for some reason he doesn't win one of these other three that I've already put in his column, and now he has to work on a combination of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. But let's go ahead and put Nevada back over there. As we're looking at Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, recognize he only has to win one. Kamala Harris cannot afford to lose any of these three states. And even if we just mirror what happened in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, and you put Nevada back over into the Democrats' column, Kamala Harris is in the same position. That's why they keep calling this the blue wall. She cannot afford to lose any one of those three states. The way the polls have been going right now for Donald Trump, he is in the lead and has been in the lead consistently now for almost 2 weeks in all three of those states. Starting with Wisconsin, one of the key indications that I am really bullish about in Wisconsin for him is that Tammy Baldwin, the incumbent senator, is now in the fight for her life. That race has gone from Baldwin up 6 to 8 points to neck and neck, some polls even showing the Republican candidate winning. And it's so bad for Tammy Baldwin that she is now running ads that are favorable to Trump. She's running ads saying, I've worked with Donald Trump in the past on border security or on this or on that. By the way, that's the same with Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan, and it's the same with Senator Casey in Pennsylvania. All three of those states that Kamala Harris desperately needs have Democrat senators running for the race of their lives saying that they can work with Donald Trump. Someone should really let Kamala Harris know, by the way, that those three Democrats running in those states have just said that they're willing to work with Hitler. Just saying. The fact that Tammy Baldwin is in the race for her life right now in Wisconsin tells me that it is right now leaning heavily and strongly enough for Donald Trump. We go over to Michigan, and I am willing at this point, even though I feel less secure about Michigan than any of these states. I believe that right now, Michigan has indicated over the last several polls that it is right now solidly in Trump's camp as well. And part of that is because of Mike Rogers running for Senate. He's got a deep, deep war chest of campaign funds against Elise Slotkin. He is coming on strong, and I think he's actually going to pull Trump fans over the line. And finally, in Pennsylvania right now, I think, is the easiest of these three states, and partly because of the incredible work that Scott Pressler has done to flip that state with registrations. All of the polls that we've seen coming out of Pennsylvania for likely voters does not include all of the new registrations that Scott Pressler has been able to achieve in that state. And because likely voters do not include new registrations. And we now are leading in Pennsylvania, Republicans are, with registrations. Based on where things are right now and what I'm seeing, I think this is your final electoral college map, especially given what we're seeing in the national polls right now. The trends are unmistakable for Donald Trump. One other thing. And by the way, I suggest you go to Real Clear Politics and create your, it's fun to play with, and you can play with your own electoral college map. And there's one very, very cool thing you can do. You can click and you can take a look at what the 2016 map looked like, which other than Nevada, I don't know if you saw, but I just clicked on it. It's the exact same map as I just showed you. The only difference is Nevada flipping over to Hillary. You can also look at the 2020 map, which, as you can see, flipped a lot of states in an extraordinary election season, where the difference in these states like Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin that you just see flip blue for Joe Biden, the difference were mail-in ballots and how they counted mail-in ballots and how they verified mail-in ballots or didn't verify mail-in ballots. That's not in play the same way this time around. But there's one other button you can push. See where it says no toss-ups? When you click on the no toss-up button, what it does is it shows you what every state looks like right now without calling a state a toss-up. You see, right now, if Trump is winning in a state by 1.5 points, they'll call that a toss-up. Even if he's been winning for 8 weeks by 1.5 points. 1.5 points, they still consider a toss-up, right? But on election day, there are no toss-ups. You can win by 0.2 of a percentage point, and it's not a toss-up. You win that state. So when you click on that button, it tells you exactly what the polls tell you right now without anything rated as a toss-up. Are you ready? I'm going to push it. You ready? You ready? Let's push it. Let's go. Well, look at that. I'll be damned. It's exactly the map I just showed you, going state by state. Right now, if every state has to lock in, and today is election day, and there's no toss-ups, Donald Trump is your next president of the United States with 312 electoral college votes, 6 more than he had in 2016. Now, given all of that, and given everything we saw yesterday, from Trump is Hitler to Trump called a dead soldier a pejorative and disrespected the military, to Trump groped a young woman 30 years ago and it can never be verified, but we're going to run with it anyway, to Kamala Harris using the power of the vice presidency to declare that Trump is Hitler, to Kamala Harris going at a CNN town hall saying that Trump is a fascist, and on and on and on. They are just scratching the surface in their desperation. They are so terrified of Donald Trump becoming the president and J.D. Vance becoming vice president that they will stop at nothing. And I truly believe they will stop at nothing. In the next 12 days, we are going to see an extraordinary amount of slime. And the media will run with it because they're on board. So I got to tell you, no matter how good you might feel based on what I just showed you in the Electoral College map, you need to take that and turn it into positive energy and positive efforts and positive work, not just sit around and say, hey, we got this. No. The entire exercise we just went through with the polls is to make you feel energized and motivated to go out and tell the word, spread the word, and get 10 more people on your side to go out and do exactly what you've done, which is vote, and finally save this country from where it's going. That's where we are right now. And we got to stick through it and run straight through that finish line. This is not like when you finish a marathon and in the final, 100 yards, you can just sort of trot across the finish line. No, this is a 100-yard dash. This is a 100-yard dash, and the only way you win a 100-yard dash is to plow through at full speed, through that tape, and you don't actually start slowing down until you're like 50 yards past the finish line. That's where we are right now, and we're going to win it. There's a lot at stake in this upcoming election, but regardless of who's sitting in the White House, the fuse on the economy has already been lit. It's like Mission Impossible. Dun, 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 dun. 4 years of a conservative presidency is not going to be enough to turn the tide on our $35 trillion national debt. And if the left wins, it's like throwing gas on a dumpster fire. No, you don't have a whole lot of control over the election's outcome. All you can do is vote and, well, bring 10 friends with you. But what you can control is your own savings. You can diversify your savings right now by investing in gold from Birch Gold. Gold. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife, and it can help protect you right now. Birch Gold will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. And it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. That's right. These are existing IRAs and 401ks, money you're already sitting on that you can convert into physical gold. And in the past 4 years, the buying power of the US dollar has declined, but the price of gold has increased by about 40%. That's not a coincidence. Get more information about this right now. Text my name, Larry, Larry, to 989898. Get your free info kit on gold and trust Birch Gold, as I do, to protect your savings. Text Larry to 989898. Do it today.